Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. We've got ourselves, of course, more matches from the Alima League. Probably the best place to go at this time of year for Korean Starcraft 2 and just consistent Starcraft 2 games. So, gonna be casting a Protoss versus Zerg this time. I've been casting a lot of Terran matches, and it's good to cast one without a Terran every now and then. And so we've got two very good players for a match like that. The map is World of Sleepers, and spawning in the bottom left-hand side of the map, he's on a barcode account for this tournament, but it's actually Jin Air Greenwing's Trap. And up in the top right-hand side of the map, it's TSG's Solar, which I believe stands for Triumphant Song Gaming, I want to say. One of those Chinese teams, Solar repping them as well as he can. And yeah, it should be a good match between these two. I mean, it is a PvZ, so it's kind of tough to say exactly what's going to happen, what sort of build the Protoss is going to bring out, how he's going to approach a tournament. As it is one of these online cups, the players are usually pretty quick to try and get the win, whether it's with something sort of just straight up aggressive like a timing attack, or it usually doesn't set up for like super late game or anything like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a 2-base attack or something coming out of Trap, just something pretty generic, I almost want to say, as he's very good at executing builds like that. And yeah, we'll just see how well this is going to work out. Solar, he's already going for his 3rd base, it would seem. And then yeah, this game's just heating on up. A very quick 3rd for Solar, sub 2 minutes. That is a quick 3rd. Solar just getting that up before he starts his queens or anything like that. And then Trap on his side of the map just going for a standard gateway expand. And yeah, we'll take a look here and see what these two players are going to do. Of course, let me know that you are enjoying these kind of commentaries by pressing that like button. Let's try and break 20 likes on this video to show that you want me to keep doing these Korean StarCraft 2 commentaries. I know you guys have been enjoying them. Just while this game's heating on up, show me that you do enjoy them. Slap that like button. And of course, if you're new to this channel, I pretty much do StarCraft 2 commentaries every day. So press that subscribe button as, yeah, just do it. Anyway, as this game's going on, we've got a bit of a development, a Stargate tech from Trap. Now, of course, that's not earth-shattering or anything like that. You're like, oh my god, the Protoss is building a Stargate. No, it's not like that at all. It's like, oh, Protoss is building a Stargate. Would you look at that? It's not very surprising in this kind of meta. It's probably the most standard opening for a Protoss these days, and it has been for a while, and I imagine it will be for the next significant bit. Adept is moving on in for Trap, going to be doing a bit of scouting here and there, just throws the Frisbee at one of those lings, but shades on towards the 3rd. Just being a bit of a pain here, but ultimately this is no real aggression. It's not like the early days when 2 Adepts would show up into your base and you'd be like, well, that's the game over like that. No, players in this day and age really do know how to defend versus just a handful of Adepts. Phoenix is out for Trap, working away on Solar's Overlord. Important to note that Solar has no other Overlords around the map, so it's not like he's got that for scouting or anything just like that yet, as the Zerg players, they're really like, okay, it's not worth it losing an Overlord or anything like that, so keeping them back at home versus Protoss players. And let's take a look here. Solar just scouting out. He's sending lings pretty much to every spot that you can, just to try and identify if anything cheeky is happening. Sort of surround the Protoss, contain the Protoss in a sense, just to make sure he's playing pretty normal here. We do take a look. Phoenix comes on in. Oracle comes on in behind it. Going to try and get a drone. Manages to get 2. Phoenix lifting up that queen, of course, to remove her damage from the equation. And then a Robo's on the way behind this for Trap. I'm willing to bet we'll see a Twilight Council in just a second here. Probably once that gas hits 100. And the clock strikes midnight. So far, not yet. Maybe he's going to be focusing on getting up his 3rd base first, but a Twilight Council is pretty much inevitable, like death and taxes in a PvZ. If the game goes long enough, you will see one. Looks like Trap, though, is going to be planning to secure himself up his 3rd base. His Adepts are moving on out, going to give these lings a bit of a hard time here. And oh, we take a look on this side of the map. 3 drones go down once again as these Oracles fly on in. Meanwhile, the 3rd base gets on up there. Trap, he's banking a bit of gas. I'm not sure what he's saving it for. There we go. He's warping in some sentries, and he's building an immortal now. I'm curious what he's going to go for. Generally, Protoss goes for some sort of tech. I mean, there's always the chance that he can just throw up like a bajillion gateways and kind of just, you know, just give her basically as the Protoss. And maybe that's exactly what he's planning to do, but I'm not sure how well that's going to work out for him. Oracles are actually going to be chasing down some of these queens. Transfuse keeps her alive though. She will go down. Phoenix could maybe be lifting one of these queens. No, doesn't quite have enough energy, and actually a bit of miss micro from Trap there. Trades out an Oracle for a queen. The Zerg is going to be pretty happy with that situation. And yeah, so not the best trade there for Trap. Maybe being a little bit overconfident in his units. If he had a Phoenix lift there, he could have removed one of the queens from the fight. And then I think he definitely could have taken it, but that was not the case. Anyway, we take a look right now. The Protoss, he is getting up that Twilight Council, +1 on the way behind that, and then a Warp Prism. So we could very well just be seeing like a big old charge lot, few Immortals, few Sentries, attack, something like that. I mean, I kind of thought we'd be seeing something pretty standard like this. Solar, though, he's already making Roaches, which are kind of a catch-all unit for Zerg for defending Protoss timings. I mean, they help with DTs, they help with charge lots, they help with really everything. So it's good to see Solar going for that. He's also going for an infestation pit behind it. No fourth base just yet, as I say that. Speak of the devil there. The fourth base is on the way. So yeah, pretty normal timing here for the Zerg. We'll see how much he's actually going to commit into this Roach Ravager, though, for a potential defense, and how much he's actually going to have to, because it's really up to the Protoss whether he's going to go for an attack or not, or whether Trap is just going to, say, throw up a fourth base and heck into something else. Look at this, though. Solar, he got up an Infestation Pit, and he's actually getting up a Nidus Worm behind this. That is a very, very cool tech choice there for the Zerg player. I mean, it's been talked about a bit, the Swarmhost Nidus play coming out of the Zerg. I mean, BlizzCon's coming up, and a lot of people are like, oh, Zerg's going to be doing pretty good, and I think Swarmhost Nidus is definitely one of the things that we're going to have to look out for in that. 2 Adepts for Trap, just looking for some harassment. So we take a look. Phoenix is going to be picking off this Overseer, which is definitely not suspicious at all, just hanging out here, maybe going to be waiting to call in a Nidus or something like that. Of course, it's not tough for the Zerg to get vision. In fact, if you're a Zerg and you have a tough time getting vision for a Nidus, you're probably playing Zerg wrong, as you really just got to run in like 1 ling or whatever, and the job gets done. But oh, look at this. Solar not even having to wait for that. He gets on in with some lings. The Nidus not even going to really be a factor here. His Trap is already in trouble. He's got his classic skin Zealots that are going to clean this up, but suddenly he's all over the place, I feel. He's just got to be in position to defend this attack. Meanwhile, a big old wave of Locust is going to be heading his way. There is 2 Immortals in this prison, but they are not very good versus Locust. Locust are going to land. There's a cannon. There's High Templar. The High Templar are gone immediately. The Immortals need to get lifted up to be saved. But oh man, this is already very, very tough here for Trap. He's got High Templar, but they do not have Side Storm just yet. That's about 20 seconds out. Trap is going to try and hold on here. There's already so much Zerg right now. The High Templar morphed into an Archon, so he's not even going to have any Side Storm. And Trap is already taking very big losses this game. And in a second here, and I mean not many seconds at all, really, another wave of Locust is going to be coming his way, and that could just be lights out for Trap. This is so many Roaches tied with the Swarmhost there, and suddenly they're coming towards the Protoss, and this could be very, very tough for Trap. He's got the Prism so he can juggle those units. He's one of the best in the world at juggling with that Warp Prism. He's got to save that Immortal, backs his units up. He's desperately trying to hold on, but take a look at this. That's just a cooldown there. That's like 40 seconds or whatever. I think it's like 39 for another wave of Locust. Don't quote me on that exactly, but it's a bit tough for the Protoss that he's going to have to deal with Locust again pretty soon. I imagine Solar with this other Nidus Worm might go in like that. No, he's actually just calling one into the face of the Protoss, and he knows he takes it. So Solar takes match number 1 of this Protoss versus Zerg. Very well played. And here we go. As Blizzard recently pushed a patch, I'm willing to bet I'm going to have to log on in here again. Do I? Do I have to log on in? Yes, I do. All I can say is every time you guys see this screen, make sure you've pressed that like button for this video as we're in the downtime. Yeah, let's try and break 20 likes on this video. Of course, if you're new, press that subscribe button. I usually say that at the end of every game just because waiting for things to load on in here. So that was map number uno. We are going to get on into map number 2. I also have to say, Blizzard, if someone from Blizzard is watching, please make it so that you don't have to log back in every time after watching a replay. There's no reason for it. It should be an easy fix. I know that you gotta load up the old game engine, but automatically sign us back in, please, after that. Anyway, that's my mini rant done. We're loading on into Ephemeron, which is going to be the second map of this best of 3 here. I mean, Solar looked pretty good there. I mean, it looked like a pretty standard Zerg play. The Protoss just sometimes doesn't seem to know how to pull it together versus like Swarm Host, versus that kind of attack. And Trap, he really just wasn't consolidated enough, because if the Protoss is consolidated enough, the Locust Waves can really just be absorbed, and that's why I think Swarm Hosts are definitely something worth talking about as far as like design goes. Like, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, free units, such bad design and whatnot. I don't have a super large opinion on the matter, as I'm not a Zerg player and I'm not a Protoss player. I'm a Terran, so I don't see too much of them. But I think the main issue with Swarm Host is the fact that it doesn't cost anything, and basically the way the unit usually pans out is that they either deal so much damage and get so many units for free, or they just get like nothing done because your opponent has enough to absorb the wave. And it just seems kind of like a flaw in the design of a sense. In a sense, there's really no middle ground with the unit, if that makes any sense at all. I'm trying to fill time here while this game's heating on up. Trap's probe is crossing the map here. It's going to be going into Solar's main base. He's going to be like, oh, would you look at that? A spawning pool. He's going to see a few drones just hanging out there. He's going to harass a little bit as he does that little jiggling thing. Oh, God, look at the skin on that extractor, by the way. Sometimes you just notice things in Starcraft 2 that make you be like, ugh, I never really looked. I've looked at that 1,000 times or 10,000 times or something before, but I've never really looked at it in its own way. So it's funny just us staring at something for a second and you can be like, oh, would you look at that? Overlords crossing the map here for Solar. He's got them BP Overlords with their little beepers on them, aka the receivers. One of them new skins. Pro players really repping those. Meanwhile, third base on the way for Solar. Pretty darn quick as before. And yeah, we'll see how Trap is going to play this out, whether we will see something like a 2-base or whatever this game. For now, though, I mean, just making an Adept. Is he going to Chrono Boost that? No, he is not, interestingly enough. Trap is... Oh, look at this. Okay, we are going to be seeing something cheeky for Trap. And if you want to know the reason why, that's because he's saving his Chrono Boost right now. He's going to be going for a very quick upgrade here in this Protoss versus Zerg. And I wonder if... I mean, there's a lot of options on the Twilight Council, and after the next patch, there's going to be a lot more probably after BlizzCon. Or there'll be even more. But yeah, look at this. Trap just saving his Chrono Boost. And he's even Chrono Boosting the South Nexus to make Solar be like, oh, okay, I guess he is just Chrono Boosting out probes. Because the Adept timing definitely should be something tipping Solar off. When, oh, what is this going to be? I mean, he's got to be using his Chrono for something. What's he researching? Or is he just going to throw up like a Dark Shrine or something? Trap, what you doing? What you doing, Trappy? Blink maybe? Oh, Dark Shrine, okay. Now, that's a bit interesting. The fact that he's saving so much chrono energy when he is deciding to go for a Dark Shrine, that I find that one kind of bizarre. Like, you could have got out a few more probes earlier. Maybe I just don't understand Protoss macro, but it's my understanding that you should pretty much be chrono boosting probes out as whenever you can. Or maybe he's trying to mind game Solar or something, I don't know. But I feel like Trap, you gotta be using that chrono energy as soon as you can, right? Like, I know he's not making any probes right now, I guess. Yeah, but I still feel like early on in the game you could have dumped that chrono. Anyway, I'm just always looking at weird little things like that. Maybe someone can explain that to me in the comments. Yeah, by the way, make sure to leave a comment on this video. Let me know what your favorite player is, favorite race, who's gonna win BlizzCon, things like that. And yeah, just waiting here. I'm curious, like, it's weird how he's just floating like 100 energy for whatever reason. Is he gonna like dump it into his gateways or something? Or he wasn't using it on Warp Gate, but yeah, he's almost got like 4 Chrono Boosts banked up. This is really bizarre. Is he gonna just use that on his gateways? and warp in like 4 DPs and go like four more DPs or something like that. I mean, I'm someone who doesn't play Protoss all the time, so I'm not super familiar with all the timings. We take a look here though, that warp prism is there, it's warping in 2 DTs. Is there chrono on the gates? No, there is not. This is really bizarre from Trap. The fact that he would save up so much chrono here when, I mean, like, he could even be chrono boosting out his observer or whatever, something like that. Anyway, here he comes on in 2 Archons right now. He's got that 1 observer out. I'm just curious, like, is he going to save it for something else? Like, this is so much energy he's building up on these Nexus. That's not a usual Protoss thing, I feel. There we go. He's making some probes now. Still not chrono boosting any out. He's coming on in with his Archons. He's attacking on in. He's going to get himself an Overlord, which is something nice. Supply block Solar. And Immortal on the way. There we go. One of the chrono boosts is being used. And someone who tries to pay attention really to the finer things in the races. Just like the more specific things to do with the races, really. And so that's why I'm really paying attention to this. Meanwhile, Trap just coming on in with his Archons. Of course, saving energy for a recall is very important at a spot like this. Gotta be careful to avoid that Queen. Oh, this Prism taking a shot or two. Gotta be so careful. Prisms really are quite weak. And there we go. More chrono is just being dumped on into this Robo, so just Immortal after Immortal seems to be the plan. No chrono into charge yet. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in this. Is he just gonna chrono boost that again? Like, is his plan just make like as many Immortals as you can as quickly as possible? For Trap, he chrono boosts out his Nexus, making some probes. Yeah, I just want to know like why he's banked up so much like energy. Is he gonna dump it into his forge or something? Like, I feel like that's not something to do with the greater plan. Meanwhile, Trap is just marching around with his Archons here. He's got that new Observer skin. Wow, that new Observer looks kind of that's new, right? It's got like kind of like a hook thing. Maybe, I think so. Anyway, we take a look here. Trap just making as many units as he can here. Building up Immortal. Still, he is going to lose a few probes to some Lings that run on him. Nicely done by Solar. Gets himself 3 probes. Trappy's dumping chrono into his Immortals. He's getting out his +1. He's building his charge, when in reality, he's not going to have anything that is actually going to help him versus what's coming his way. And Solar is going for a Spire here. A pretty classical Protoss, or a pretty classical Zerg Muta play here, could potentially be catching Trap off guard. We take a look, 10 Ravagers on the way for Solar as well. That is a lot of gas. Maybe he's deciding not to make Mutas. Lings run on in once again, by the way. They get 2 more probes, so nice little bit of something there for the Protoss. Archons dropping at the 4th base. I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to deny it. They are not. And then we take a look. Solar, he's still just making Roaches and Ravagers, while Trap's going to be moving out for a big old attack. So we are going to be having a ground army versus ground army type situation, as Solar only now just fires up 5 Mutas. I feel like they're not really going to be there in time to make too much of significance happen. I mean, I think Trap sniffed this out. He's building a cannon in each mineral line, a little bit concerned about what's coming his way. But really, he is just focused on this big attack. Warping in some High Templar, making some more Archons. He's got Archons, Immortals, Zealots. He's going to have his +1 done in a second. He's going to be looking to have a timing attack. Oh, there's the Zerg, though, getting on top of everything. There's the Prism. It's going to be very useful for juggling these units. The Mutas might want to try and snipe that off. Instead, they're just going around. And this is a lot of Roach Ravager here for Solar. Trap, I think, needs like another big Warpin or something, when really he's kind of worried about these Mutas coming across the map. But I think if you're Trap, yeah, if you want to make this attack happen, you just got to like warp in a big round of Zealots and hope that you can make something happen. He's got Blink started up just now, but he's got to defend versus these Mutas pretty perfectly, or else he's just going to be in a bad situation from the way that he opened up. And I think this game is just looking pretty good for Solar here. He's getting up into a hive. He's getting up, or he's got these Mutas just poking the Protoss here and there. The Protoss has Blink on the way, but I mean, Trap's not really getting into anything else too favorable for him. Like, he's got a Templar Archive somewhere, but he has yet to start up Psystorm. And then he's just sitting back. It's really kind of bizarre how Trap is playing like this. And yeah, I'm not sure what the best choice for him would be at this point. I guess he's making a Stargate because he's concerned about more Mutas. But I feel like you got to get a 4th base up at the Protoss if you're macroing. But the thing is, Trap kind of went for an attack, but then he didn't really go for anything else. So it's kind of odd, the spot that he's in. Like, just the way that he opened up wasn't that great. And we take a look at this. Solar, the Mad Zerg, is firing up 31 Banelings here, and he could just be about to annihilate Trap. I mean, the DT is getting a few drones, which is nice there for Trap, but oh man, this Zerg army is going to be a scary one right now. 31 Banelings out on the map here for the Zerg. Trap, I mean, he's got this army, but it's not that strong from the seam of it. It's going to have I mean, he's got an okay amount of units, but it's nothing spectacular. He doesn't have Psystorm, despite the fact that he's had tons of time to research it. He hasn't got really anything else that's going for him. I mean, he's making Archons, which are very good versus Banelings, but look at this. He's out on the map with a portion of his army. Trap is completely out of position for this attack that from Solar that's going to be coming his way. I mean, a few Zealots going for some counter harassment is going to be a bit nice, and oh, that's actually kind of Trap's saving grace there. He was really out of position for a potential fight there. His army really split up, but those Zealots pull Solar all the way back. That is nice for the Protoss, buying himself some time. He is now going to have +2 done, but still, he's not really teching into anything else. He's building more cannons to defend his 4th base, but he's not started Psystorm, which I feel you need, and he's just sitting back. Psystorm would be helpful. It can potentially help deal with the mass Banelings. It can help deal with the Greater Spire if you're forced into a really wonky situation versus Broodlords. And right now we see Trap, he's just trying to cross the map with everything that he has. He's going to be going for a timing attack. We'll see if this can work. He's really putting it all in on this attack. The Banelings are rolling forward for Solar. Crows Baal's getting tossed down. Archons are very good at absorbing Baneling connections, though, and while this is going on, a DT at the 4th base of Solar. So this attack is actually looking pretty good for Trap on his side of the map, though Muta's being a bit of a pain, but oh, look at this. I mean, Trap's army is kind of scary right now. Okay, this attack is really starting to make a lot more sense. Solar's Roach Ravager, not enough to stand versus this much Protoss on the ground. The +2 really going to help out here. Solar is starting to spill forward. The Immortals pulling back. Is there a Warp Prism to warp in like another big round of Zealots or something to help buffer for this? Because Solar is getting a ton of Lings on in here connecting to the Protoss army, and with most of the Archons, no, scraps that, all the Archons gone down, there's not a lot to buffer to keep these Lings at bay. Those Zealots being in the front is very, very important. We do take a look though. Solar lost some drones at his 4th base, so his drone count isn't that good. He lost his 5th base, so Trap got okay damage done there. I mean, the Mutas are still being a pain, but the static defense is substantial enough to keep these guys at bay. Stalkers are there. Do they blink after? Yes, they do. Do they get a Muta? No, they don't. These Mutas just going to continuously be a pain there for the Protoss, but still, that attack seemed to at least get a bit done for the Protoss. Solar, though, he still does have that Broodlord tech, and the Broodlord tech kind of is the thing that really forces the Protoss into an odd spot. We take a look here, and Trap, he might just have to go for another attack or something before the Broodlords are done. I don't know if his army's up to the task, though. Solar has rebuilt a good number of Banelings. He's still got a good number of Ravagers and everything out. Warp Prism getting defended there by Trap, which is very important, but for now, he is just being kept on his side of the map. And we take a look at this. Solar has bought himself adequate time right now. He's got up to 8 Broodlords, 6 Banelings as well, just being added on in there. I mean, the Broodlord Baneling composition is kind of like a checkmate versus Protoss in a sense, because the Stalkers can't blink underneath the Broodlords when there's a ton of Banelings waiting for them, and there is 23 Banelings out. They've got +2 attacks, so they will just rip through the Stalkers. And without Psystorm or anything, there we go. Trap is finally getting Psystorm, by the way. Without that, I feel like you're just doomed to fail as the Protoss, so maybe Trap needs to hit somewhere else out on the map to keep pulling the Zerg apart. I mean, his Zealots are coming on in, could get a nice bit of damage done here, engaging the Spine Crawler, but they will all get cleaned on up there by Solar. Nicely done. And the Protoss player is just being forced on back. Trap right now, he's got to deal with Broodlords, but I think he's kind of unsure how. He's got his Archons buffering, eating a lot of Banelings and everything there. Nicely done. So that's a good start to the fight there, but Trap really needs some Psystorm or something to handle this army, and I don't know if he has it right now. Broodlords are moving on forward. There's a ton of Ravagers. There's a ton of Lingbane. Trap's army isn't too bad, but versus these Broodlords and versus all of these Banes, I don't know if it's going to be up to stuff. Zealots are going to be looking for a counterattack in multiple places here. I think Trap might just be going for a bit of a wonky base trade right now. And I mean, considering his current position, I don't mind the decision. It's going to be tough either way, I feel, but yeah, that's what he's going for. Catching a few units there. He wants to try and get on top of these Broodlords, or maybe pull the Zerg army out of position. Oh, he's getting some of his units tagged here by the Broods, and by that, if they get wrapped around, they are just done. High Templar, though, moving towards the south, gonna group up with this army. Maybe Trap's just waiting for a perfect fight, although another of his Immortals gets caught there. He's just backing up and backing up. There we go. He groups up with these High Templar, though. Psystorm goes down. That may be enough for Trap to start forcing this back. Meanwhile, he's got Zealots hitting the Zerg player all over. I think that was the Greater Spire that went down. Yes, it was. So no more Broodlords in the mix. Trap is really making a game out of this. And his standing army isn't too bad. Now that Psystorm's mixed on in here, versus just like Ling, Roach, Ravager, and with Broodlords on, I think it's definitely doable for the Protoss to take a fight. Protoss, by the way, trying to get up this kill this fifth base of the Zerg, wasn't quite able to. Meanwhile, Trap, he did lose his third base, so his own economy isn't that bad, isn't that good. There's always a chance, though, here for the Protoss. Trap, I mean, he's got a good number of Archons. He's got +1 armor even for his units now. And the Psystorm is really going to be what decides this game, I feel. But, oh, look at this. Solar is so committed to defending the space. He says, right, I got Broodlords. I can just kind of sit back, and my spot's not going to be too bad. He's constantly sending out Lings to scout his opponent out. And with that considered, I mean, as long as he sits back and macros up well enough, Solar doesn't need to take a fight or anything like that. Time can be on his side, and when I say can be on his side, I think at this point it is on his side because he's making some Infestors, and Infestors are going to make this very tough for Trap right now. Trap is trying to secure up a fifth base, which is being harassed. I think that might actually just be a cancel or something. Use 3 Lings, pardon me, putting out so much damage. They just got an upgrade, getting their +1. That Nexus is canceled, and I think Trap is just going to go for it. But the fact that there's Infestors out is going to make life so tough here for the Protoss. Trap is moving on in. Solar's not really prepared for this engagement. He wants to go up this ramp. Stalkers blink underneath. The Broodlords doing what they can. We need to see Psystorms going down here. Infestors getting fungal growth on the High Templar, though. The Stalkers have pretty much all gone down, and there's really no answer for the Broods, so Trap is actually forced back here. I think he needs the Psystorm to cover his retreat, but retreat to what, you may say? I mean, his economy isn't that great. He just doesn't have that much of an answer versus this Zerg army. He's going to be maybe diving on in here. I wouldn't actually mind that decision as long as he's got recall. But the fact that Trap wasn't able to kill this base, wasn't able to finish it off, kind of hurts for the Protoss. The Zerg would have been in a much rougher economic position. And Trap, though, he's just retreating. I mean, he's given it his all this game. He's going to be unloading Zealots into the Zerg's base here. Going to be trying to get some more drones. But, oh, look at this. Banelings rolled on in. There goes down 10 of Trap's probes. And his economy down to 38 probes. He could not afford that loss. Yeah, and I don't know what you got to do right now if you're Trap. I mean, his army is okay, but it's nothing spectacular. Yes, he's got to hope for a very good fight or something like that. But Infestor Broodlord, arguably the best composition in the game, certainly against what Trap has right now. It's going to be very tough. He's moving forward, though. I mean, the Archon's buffering as well as they can. Psystorms need to go down, but they're not really getting amazing connections, and the Warp Prism goes down. Trap is trying to push on in. He's trying to break this location. The Psystorm is really forcing his opponent back, but eventually that's going to wear thin, and the remainder of his army is just not enough. The Broodlord's going to clean everything up, and GG gets called as Solar takes himself the 2-0 versus Trap. Very well played by the Zerg. Just a great game there. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning on into this video. If you enjoyed this commentary, press that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to press that subscribe button, as I'm putting out new commentaries like this pretty much every single day. So let's try and break 20 likes on this video. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.